And skibidi skidoo. Biboski boboski bork 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 bork. And me, we say make and do the almond cookie. Mit the whips and cream and the strawberry jammer.
Let me translate that for you guys so you can understand it better. Tonight, I will be showing you how to make the traditional Swedish Christmas cookie almond clams. And in the almond clams, there's whipped cream and strawberry jam. Okay, here we go. Get pen and paper ready, just in case you want to write it down. The recipe for the cookie is down below, with the option for gluten and milk-free options as well. Right, so here's what we need. Tartlets or muffin molds in metal or silicone would probably work just fine. Just don't use the paper ones. They won't do. Now, if you don't have any molds, a regular one that is deep works as well. There should be an indent to fill it with cream and jam. Now I've posted a link to possible molds to buy. Now with the search words, you should be able to find them elsewhere as well. Alright, then we'll need some sweet almonds. Now in hindsight, I did something not so smart. I bought the whole almonds. I'll show you what to do with those. You can always buy pre-grated almonds. Saves a bit of time and energy. Now, mixing both bitter and sweet almonds, yeah, you can do whichever you fancy. Then we need some eggs. And then some butter and whipped cream. Now, normally I whip the cream myself, but this time I use the whipped cream in a spray can for easy use. Then we have the jam. You can pick whichever jam you want. I picked strawberry since that's the original thing. I bought a squeezy bottle, once again for easy use. You can have it in a jar, it doesn't matter. Then we have some flour, just regular flour, and then some sugar, and various things to measure with. And of course, you need something to grind the almonds with, since I'm a dope. Yeah, the grinder is from the 70s sometime. Don't ask me why work has it. They just did. You may have an electric one that makes it so much easier. Right, now that we've gathered up all the things we need, we can start with the baking. First, you will need to boil some water. Once it starts boiling, you dump the almonds in there. If they have skin on them, that is, as mine do. You boil them for about a minute. Try to keep it to a minute. Not longer, or they will become very soft, and shorter, and they will be very hard to peel. They won't pop out of their skin. That should be about a minute. Pour the water away. Let go! Now, cool them off with some cold water so you don't scald your fingers while removing their skin. So, yeah. I should be able to do this with one hand. Yup! Got him! Shit! Now, this is not that easy with one hand, let me tell you. I might have to get some other form of recording if I'm gonna keep doing this. Ta-da! Okay, let's skip ahead a bit, because this is going to take forever with just one hand. So, now, I've peeled all the almonds, and they're in the grinder. Most of them were easy to peel, others required a bit more convincing. But they did get peeled. Some might still have small parts of their skin, but that's okay. Now, let's see if I can grate these with one hand. Ah, hell nah. That's not gonna work. I'll have to grate these without you guys. I'm sure I don't need to show you how to grate things. And there we are! Freshly grated sweet almonds. Just like you can friggin' buy in the store. Oh well. Perhaps it will be good if someone does like to do everything from scratch, or if the store was out of grated almonds. But yeah, I didn't make a lot of sound and I got a free workout, so yay! So now you mix the butter. Almond butter jelly time. Now this butter is pretty easy since we have the grating as lines on one side. Remember that it's better if the butter is room temperature. That way it will be much easier to work with. If it's straight out of the fridge, it can be pretty damn hard. Giggity. Now we need a knife. 200 grams. Each one of these lines represents 50 grams. So here we have 50, 100, 150, and 200. Yeah, mine's probably still a little bit too cold. Didn't have it out of the fridge for long enough. And then we add the sugar. La sugar. So, basically, you want no sugar left. It should all be absorbed into the butter. Now we take 2 eggs, one-handed cracks. I've already cracked one, now for the second egg. That's how it's done. And now the flour. And now we make it into a dough. I want both of my hands for this. And ta-da! Now the flour is absorbed. And the dough is ready. Then you take a plastic bag and put the dough in the bag. Make sure that you have a bag that's big enough. A 2-liter bag should be enough. Once again, hard with just one hand. Now the dough is in the bag and the bag goes in the fridge for about 30 minutes. Now you sit tight dough for 30 minutes.
Achoo! Anau! Iwagwa! Ila Lutanub!
By the power of the dark side! You're right! Huh, that's a phrase I never thought I would utter in my entire life. But yeah, we forgot the almonds. It won't be a damn almond clam if there are no almonds in it. And now we do the thing with the plastic bag again. And now it sits for 30 minutes. 30 minutes later. Now the dough has been sitting long enough, so it's ready to be made into cookies. And before we start doing that, we put the oven at 200 degrees Celsius. We also warm some butter to butter up the molds so that the cookies don't stick and we fall off more easily once they're done. Also, flour up the countertop that you're gonna bake on. Make the dough into a long, thin thing. And now the butter is melted and we have the dough. So now we just need a knife and cut it. For speed! all cut. Now we take the molds and we brush them with butter. Let me just do this with 2 hands. Done! Now we take the dough and push it to the sides of the mold, filling it all the way up. Make sure that there is an indentation at the bottom. For speed again! Now this one was a bit big, so just push all the excess dough out and put it to the side. Now I have done all of them. Now you place the molds on an oven plate or a grate, as I did in this case. The risk with the plate is that it might make the bottom harder than the rest. But as you see later, some of the cookies were a bit slanted and that made the baking uneven. And then you put them in the oven. And now they're baking. Look at them. Just waiting to be numbed up as a gift to people joining the dark side. You keep them in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes. And that's 10 to 12 minutes. And they're done. And looky! Now, this one's not deep enough. Try to keep the bottom part as thin as possible without making holes in it. Now, these are fairly uneven, and there could be various reasons for this. One being the grate that I mentioned. It could also be the various thickness of the cookies. It could also be the oven that is heating unevenly. Now we'll let them cool off. And now they're cool enough. Let's try this. You have now been creamed! And now for the jam! And there we have it, folks. 1 almond clam, done and ready for eating. I'm only gonna do once since cream goes bad. You can keep the almond clams for a very long time as long as you keep them dry and out of the sun. Which does speak in favor of the spray whipped cream. That way you can make one whenever you feel like it. Eat it and go about your day. If you're having guests, however, then doing several of them at a time might be preferable, and then whipping your own cream might be better in that case. Now remember, try to make them like a bowl. Not like this one. The cream will just lay on top and you can't have enough cream in them. I guess you could eat them as they are, which is fine, but it's way better with cream and jam. Now, quite a few of mine did not become bowls. But since this was my first time ever doing this on my own, I'm quite happy with the results in general. I hope you all will have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you will enjoy your very own almond clams. Bye!